Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of Let Dark Souls Teach You. Now, I was watching back episode 2 and I kind of realized that this is just as much let me teach you as much as it is let Dark Souls teach you. But I feel like it's necessary. I can't just say, hey, let the game teach you this without explaining a little bit of this. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of both, especially as we get to like the mid and late game. I'm going to be putting in my 2 cents and helping out along with, as mentioned earlier, letting the game teach you. So today we're going to get into more exploration, we're going to get into some more boss fights, some more different situational things, NPCs, all kinds of wonderful Soulsy stuff. I'm not going to explore every nook and cranny of the areas because I don't want to ruin everything in the game for you. Even players who want help and don't mind having some stuff, explained, I still don't want to ruin everything. I still want to keep that, exploration as a bit of enticement for those who wish to enjoy it. So without any further ado, let's get on with the episode. What did we do last time? We defeated the gargoyles, yeah? Yeah, we defeated the gargoyles, so that means we should be going... play through this game 100 times, just blanking on where to go next. Here we go, here's the guy we rescued last episode. See now, there's a few things you could do here. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm just gonna move right along, but he has a quest line that you can end now, or you can let it progress. I'm not gonna tell you what happens next. So remember that Firekeeper's Soul that we discussed last episode that helps extend your healing and make it, a bit more effective? Well, we're going to find another one. Now, this is a late game area, mid to late game area like the other ones. And it's also somewhere that we're not really supposed to be yet. So I'm going to impart a little bit of last week's example of the catacombs and the graveyard area where we weren't supposed to go. The same knowledge applies here, only this area has a gimmick, which I'm not going to tell you how to, work around, but you'll see what I mean in a moment. See, we got these enemies up here who we can't damage, and they hurt us a lot. So we're just going to move along. Alright, and now you can actually get a Firekeeper Soul from this area. You're not meant to go here yet, but that doesn't mean we can't take advantage of some hit-and-run tactics. And if we die here, that's fine. I'm just going to kill myself right here. We'll spawn right back at the bonfire, and we've lost nothing. I'm not going to reverse my hollowing either, because I don't want to waste humanity immediately if I don't have to. Alright, so onward to the next area. We're going to use one of several shortcuts and pathways from this area in order to get there. We're going to go back to the Undead Parish where we came from before via this elevator. Remember, that's how we got back to Firelink Shrine at the end of last episode. He was my edgelord. Now he's my zombie edgelord. Edgelord the zombie. Alright, we're back to the Undead Parish area. Definitely going to want to grab this bonfire because we don't know when the next one's going to be. So if we die, we don't want to start all the way back at Firelink. Alright, and as we saw when we faced this guy earlier, we're not really ready to face him yet. However, he'll be there for as long as we leave him there, so we can come back to him at any time. Alright. Darkroot area. See, I think it's time I show you how to let the game teach you about grab attacks. See, you'll be blocking these attacks merrily, but look at that. That's a grab attack. You can almost never block a grab attack from a mob or a boss or whatever. So what you want to do is if you see a mob raise its arms up like that or something of that nature, don't just block it. You're going to want to either dodge it or attack it to stagger him out of it. Alright, see now this is one of my favorite spots in the early game because it's something I missed a lot. I tell you about exploration and environmental awareness. This seems like it's intentionally trying to block our vision from something. Now most people wouldn't do this, but if you went over here to look, there's a bonfire there. But there's a wall. Something Dark Souls is very good at is providing illusionary walls, which you can either roll through or attack in order to dispel. So we're going to light up this bonfire. This isn't actually the main bonfire of this area that we need, but it'll be useful later, and it'll just make some future experiences easier. Now this right here says locked by some contraption. Similar and very much akin to the door that don't open from this side. You're going to be coming back here, so don't worry. Because you found a hidden wall, you found a door that can't be opened yet. Now you found another path with a dead end, and then another path. I encourage you to let the game encourage you, as it already does, to explore. You never know what you're going to find. That's an ambush, which is not uncommon when there's treasure at stake. And getting ganged up on by these guys really isn't my idea of a good time, at any level. Well, this isn't the path that I initially, that I meant to take you on next, but you know what? Since we can go there, let's just see what it has in store for us. Treasure. And spooky lizard monster. I still don't know what these are called. I don't like them at all. And now we're ambushed from behind. We're poisoned. We gotta heal up. Never go into any situation without observing your surroundings. Alright, and we've definitely looted some purple moss by now. We're gonna use that, and it's gonna halt our poisoning. Now that should be as clear as day. Yeah, if he's just lying down, he's gonna stand up. But you can run past him, or you can choose to fight him. You're not doing much damage to him, and he just put a debuff on you that slows you down, and he does ham damage. Now we're dead. Now if you want to power through this area, you can, but I just took you here to show you that, just to pass on the lesson that I've been teaching, is that, you can get to areas that you might not be ready for at the time when you're not ready for them. And there's always ways around things, but they're usually harder in the early game, so we're not going to go there just yet. We're going to go the way we're meant to go and be on our way. Alright, see these little guys? Make sure you end them before they teleport. They don't take a lot of damage, but they don't do anything to you either. Just whack them to stagger them out of their teleportation, because they drop some important stuff, usually. Twinkling Titanite, Titanite Chunk, that's for various weapon upgrades, which I might touch on a little bit later, depending on where we are and, what's going on. We came to the wrong neighborhood. Alright, remember that Black Knight I told you about in episode 2 that I didn't have footage of? Well, now I can really show you in person. He does ham damage on you, and you don't do much to him, but they can be parried and backstabbed. If you get the timing down, you can parry spam them, or backstab fish them, until you eventually kill them. But try not to mess up the timing here, because even though I did technically still block it, I took some damage, and that hit does a lot of damage. So definitely be prepared for a fight over here. You can even cheese him into dropping attacks with the different levels here, which is pretty effective, but it's a little bit riskier and harder to pull off. But apparently so is parrying, because I'm pretty shit at it. I'm not good with delayed windups, I'm honestly not. And these guys have a lot of delayed windups and various speeds of attack. But there's a chance you could drop that weapon. And you are nowhere near going to have the stats for that weapon this early in the game. But if you do get it, it's a pretty good weapon. If you're struggling, I encourage you to grind up some levels to get, the stats for it. But it's pretty silly how much damage it does. I encourage you to overcome the game by, your own means. But hey, if you want to make use of what you find, there's nothing wrong with that. It's in the game for a reason. There's nothing wrong with utilizing what you have access to. Right, he's dead. We did not get his weapon, but we got blue Titanite, which is, again, a different kind of weapon upgrade. Now, clearly, a guy of that caliber must have been guarding something pretty good. Grasscrest Shield. Just a shield. It doesn't block 100% damage, and it has less stability, but it protects more from magic attack. Definitely circumstantial, you're going to want to use that. And it also gives stamina recovery. I encourage you to read the descriptions of every item you find, because you never know if there's going to be some kind of buff or something that's going to help you out. Increased stamina recovery speed, especially with the gameplay speed of Dark Souls 1, that's definitely not a bad thing to have around. Oh, look at that. Bonfire. Remember what I said in episode 1. If there's a bonfire, you're almost surely meant to go that way. But before we go down that dark looming tunnel, let's just check what's above us first, because like I said, exploration. Alright, now here's... Oh, what's that, you might say? Oh, shit, remember this MRFer that we ran into earlier? He's right there. And we just got attacked from behind because we weren't being aware of our environment. We're going to correct that, don't worry. We're still not really ready to face this guy, so we're going to get out of here. But what I really wanted to drive home with coming here is that how interconnected everything in Dark Souls is. The level design, everything is so connected. And it's brilliant in my opinion, which I was getting into a little bit last episode, but this just further cements it. So I just wanted to bring you around here to see that. And as you can see, again, we're doing no damage to them. They can do some spooky damage, so we're not going to hang around here for too long. And if there's nothing else saying stay away, it's a mad sea monster shooting water at you that almost one-shots you. So, guess where we're not going to be hanging around any longer. We are going to get out of here and go back to where we were before, and we're going to continue on that road. Now we're going to rest at this bonfire because we used like all of our healing. Now, I never immediately reverse my hollowing and kindle the bonfire upon first coming to it. I recommend waiting to see what's ahead of you first to see if it's really an area following the bonfire where you really have to upgrade it. So for now, we're just going to not do that. Just one quick little tip as a Souls player. Whenever you go down an elevator, walk on the plate and walk off of it again. Send it back up. Because if you die, it'll be ready and waiting for you next time. Valley of Drakes. I don't think we're ready to fight dragons yet. See, I blocked that attack, and look how much damage it did, so... And look at the non-existent damage we're doing to him. So, we're gonna just be on our merry way. So we're past all the dragons, and you see this amalgamation. Yeah, you know how I said that sometimes treasure can lead into a trap, but you should always want the treasure? Well, both of those things still stand. They might be contradictory, but they are both simultaneously true. You got a sword and a shield, but you almost just got one shot by a mad dragon. Now you're dead. Yeah, that guy's a right bastard, but once you run past him, he's no threat whatsoever. But like I said about sending the elevator back up, look at that. Now we don't have to pull the lever and wait for it again. It's right there, ready and waiting. Piss off. Alright, here's that bastard. We're just gonna run. Avoid... Ooh, poison spewing monstrosity. Oh! Well, in light of that, I guess I should explain counter damage. Counter damage is basically, if you're like mid-attack or if you're mid-jump, then you take increased damage by incoming attacks. And an attack that would almost one-shot me, just normally, one-shot me due to the counter damage effect. So, I didn't really mean to jump there, I meant to roll, but because when you jump, you can only jump whilst running, and I was running, and it's bound to B, which is also what you hold to sprint. Like so. You have to stop running and hit B to roll. Whereas in the later Souls games, it's bound to left stick, which I think is a much better system. Get away from that man. Get away from him. We should be safe. Alright. Any big, bad, scary monster, there's usually a way to get around him. Some are easier than others. He's usually pretty easy. That's probably the first time I've consecutively died to him in a while. I wasn't doing that for video purposes. I messed up. Again, even if you're a Souls veteran like myself, I consider myself to be anyway, you can still die to stupid shit. So just, you know, don't feel disheartened if you're getting wrecked as a new player. Even this well-seasoned people die to stuff. Alright, loot. Master key. Now, this is why I recommend getting the master key, because you can open doors that you might not be able to open by normal means. See, now this looks familiar. If you take a look up here, we got this elevator, and the beautiful music kicks in, and you know exactly where we are. That's another shortcut to Firelink Shrine that would have taken longer to obtain without getting the master key as your burial gift, which is what I recommend. Again, you can pick whatever you want. There's something to be gained by every burial gift for the most part, but I recommend the master key for the reasons I just said. Alright, we got this deep, dark, ominous area, not looking too friendly. Take a look at this place. Just a heads up, console gamers, get ready to drop some frames in this area. Yeah, I didn't mean to land here because poison darts, fire dogs, we want to move. We want to move. We want to get out of here. Oh, we're toxic. This is not looking good for us. Takes so long to climb. This is not looking good. I knew I shouldn't have used that toxic purple moss because this is when we would have needed it. Oh, God. Mistakes are made. Do I have any homeward bones? Oh, I'm poisoned and toxic? Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Yeah, but what I just had happen to me should be a clear indication of the kind of crap you're going to be dealing with in this area. I cannot wait to tackle it together. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to rest at the Firelink Shrine bonfire. So that shortcut is a little bit quicker than this one. So to save the run back through the Valley of Nopes, it'll be a little bit easier. Ah, the beautiful Firelink. Still my favorite, like, hub area of all the games. Alright, well, also what we're going to do is we're going to talk to our woman here so she can upgrade our flask with that Keeper's Soul that we suicided to get earlier. Alright, we're going to use this shortcut from now on to Blighttown. Give him a little kick. What's up, bro? Also, another benefit of starting from Firelink Shrine is that right off the bat, without having upgraded it, we have 10 Estus flasks going into the following area, which we are definitely going to need. And also from those tree bastards in Darkroot, we got a bit of moss, which if we get poisoned, will cure one application of the poison. So we're going to want more of these, but I think we'll be fine. Next area is pretty much filled to the brim with all kinds of fun stuff, so looking forward to that. As you should be too as a new player. Like, I make light of it, I joke about it, but you should always look forward to going in and exploring these, the places that you'll be going, because the game will throw something different at you every time. And sometimes it'll be fun to overcome, sometimes it'll be downright annoying and frustrating, sometimes it'll be a mixture of both. It'll be really annoying and frustrating, but you'll either feel really, accomplished or just relieved when you do overcome it, which is a big focal point of Souls. Feeling accomplished over overcoming stuff. Challenging stuff, to be specific. Although there are most certainly annoyances here and there. Alright, we're making our way downtown. This is definitely a spot where console players will drop frames, just a heads up. It's a bit precarious, but just keep your footing and be aware of your surroundings, and you should survive. If you can drop down, I would, just because it's, quicker and you're less vulnerable than when you're climbing down ladders. You can get stuff shot at you, like poison darts and whatnot, like that just went over my head. Then you have this contraption, which, upon looking, you don't really see any other way down, but you see platforms you can stand on this little Ferris wheel, so go ahead and roll on one. And if you look down, you'll see that's exactly how you're meant to get down here. Alright. Very dark and spooky. Fire-breathing spider monsters. And another thing. Just walking in this muck, which is plentiful in this area, will poison you if you're in it for more than a couple seconds, especially with the low poison resist gear that we're currently wearing. So, straight off the bat, this is definitely a bonfire I would recommend kindling. Pretty obvious with all the poison shit in here, I have no problem dropping that. Alright, reverse hollowing, so we go from edgelord zombie to just normal edgelord with somehow flawless skin, but whatever. Now I'm just going to kindle it, so we get to keep those 10 flasks, and we shall be good to go. Alright, and something else I should warn you about is, when you restore your humanity, there's certain other things that you're vulnerable to that the game throws at you. And that is, a little bit late, but near enough on cue, that is invasions. Now, some of them are NPC invasions that the game throws at you, but some of them is going to be PvP. There's not much I can really do to explain, invasions, especially with PvP. If it's PvP, I can't help you there. Player intelligence, just hope for the best. But if it's an NPC, take normal mob design into account up to a certain extent. Some of them have tricks up their sleeves, but some of them are just, not much different to handle than the normal enemies. Like this one, with her long windups, can be parried. But, don't get too overconfident because she just took half my health away with one whack. So just get up in her face and hack away. Boom. Got her. And invaders don't respawn, so you don't have to worry about that. Well, you can get spam invaded in PvP, if you should be so lucky to get PvP in this game. But NPC invaders do not respawn. You get some loot, you got humanity, which is really nice, and a butcher's knife, which I'm not going to use, but it's a heavily a strength weapon, so you can use it if you want. And we just got a bunch of souls, so we're going to level up. We can only level up twice. I would do health in this area for sure. Maybe throw a bone at Dex, just because why not. And forge ahead. Also, the drawback might be being able to be invaded when you have your humanity restored. But you can also summon NPCs, like our beautiful Sunbro from last episode. So definitely take that into account as well. And I have only one bit of moss, so I'm going to wait until I come to the eventual hopeful end of the poison train to use it, because you really got to make it count. Right, rest of the bonfire to restore your flasks. Now we got a few ways we can go here. That looks rather ominous and spooky over there. And it doesn't look much better over in this direction. So, and I'm already poisoned. Wonderful, wonderful area this is. This just seems to be an open area. Now, I'm just going to drop this right here. There are a couple of nice secrets to be had in this area. And this is the game kind of teaching you not to write off certain areas just because you don't see anything, bombastic and stick out like a sore thumb. Like, hey, over here, there's a thing. Don't underestimate what may hide behind the walls of these games, because it just might be something nice. But I am not going to spoil that in this episode because, holy crap, it's just, there are certain things that should just be discovered by the player their first time around in, a very organic sense. So we're just going to be on our way to the main reason we came here. And that's going toward that ugly looking note fest. Because you can see even from here, there's a doorway. You know, it's pretty small on screen, but you can see pretty obviously right in the middle above my head, there's a doorway. And doorways usually mean a definite route. You know, some routes are hidden behind walls, but if there's an open and obvious, you know, doorway or pathway, you really can't ignore that, you know? Clear our poison, restore our flasks. Now I'm just gonna have my poison moss ready. We got this poison moss from the area right before this area, which again is another way of the game telling you that, see this item that you just looted? You are going to need this. We're not telling you when, but you're going to need it. So don't write off a lot of items that you pick up. Read the descriptions and see what they do, because there's a good chance that they might come in handy. Yeah, you'll find useless items here and there, but, you know, don't be afraid to hold on to stuff, you know? You don't have max inventory space or equipment loads when it comes to your inventory. Hold on to everything that you pick up, because, you know, you just never know. These lovely friendly guys they were such a pain in the ass my first playthrough. I got smashed by those rocks so many times. See, as someone who hates spiders, this doesn't look like a very welcoming sight, but this is Dark Souls, and we can't just let our fears get in the way. We are explorers, we are conquerors. We are seeking purpose in this world. We need to find out what's going on here. Wait till the end of the poison lake rather. Use the moss, get rid of it, healed up. And now, much like our sunbro, we see a radiant sign on the ground here. That looks like the lady that we just owned earlier, but now she's going to help us. So you can touch the summon sign, and you will summon her, and she will help you with whatever we're going to face here. Now, judging by the fact there's spiderwebs everywhere, only 3 guesses as to the direction they're going to be leaning as towards what you'll be facing here. But, yeah. It's not going to be fun. Nah, it is going to be fun. Because any trip into the unknown with Dark Souls should be a fun time. You should want to at least try to enjoy it. You might not end up liking it, but you should always go with the mindset of there's a challenge ready to be overcome, and that's what we're going to do. So we traverse the light, and what are we expecting? Could have really been anything else. Sometimes Dark Souls surprises you, sometimes it gives you exactly what you would expect. Sometimes it gives you exactly what you would expect with a little unexpected touch on top. This might be a hell spider, but it's a hell spider waifu, so it might be terrifying, but how much are we going to complain? Either way, let's go, bitch. Now, I forgot to hotbar this on my way in here, but we have some more of this gold pine resin, which buffs our weapon with lightning. It's a different element than fire, so why not use it? Now, NPCs that you summon might not always have the greatest intelligence, but they can tank boss hits for you, which is definitely something that you want to take advantage of. Because you can swap in and out who takes aggro from the boss. If you take aggro, you can at least, well, you can hope and pray that the NPC summons will, you know, start fighting for you. But if you want to be like me in my early playthrough and just have the boss tank it while you go for it, that's fine. And now what you just saw that I kind of glossed over a little bit is that boss just gave us an attack that really left itself open to counterattack by us. And usually when it does that, it follows up. Never be too greedy. If a boss leaves itself open, it's usually got something else coming for you. Now if as you can see, the NPC was running into the lava for ages. Thank God it doesn't take much damage from the lava. But yeah, you can't always count on these NPCs, but it's nice to have them when they're here. See, now without that, you know, weapon buff, we're not doing as much damage. And we were going whole ham on this boss. She just punished us with an AoE that we couldn't dodge out of. Thankfully, I had just enough energy to block it, but it still staggered me out of my block, and I still took a chunk of damage. So with these bosses, like this one, they're aggressive, but they do sometimes give you wide windows. Don't be too greedy. A couple of hits and, you know, be ready to back away. Never unload all of your stamina. Notice how I'm keeping a little bit of stamina in my pool? Because I'm getting ready to dodge. I want enough to dodge at least once. And this is another strat where, much like the earlier bosses, staying in close and dodging is a good idea. But if you stay close for too long, she does that devastating AoE. It took all of my stamina and still took a chunk of health away. So that should show you that you want to be ready for that. And see how this window that she's leaving for us? Well, usually she follows up with that AoE, but sometimes you get lucky. You don't want to find out the hard way if she's going to do that or not. So just be ready. That's another thing about Dark Souls, is letting the game teach you all this stuff and being ready to counter it. See, now we know that she's going to do that AoE, and we were able to dodge out without even having to worry about blocking it. Now, our glorious NPC comrade is stuck in a wall against the lava, which is just hilarious. But I'm going to try to keep the boss's attention, and hopefully our friend will whack her a little bit, or start booty popping and smack her. Alright, come on, Mildred, do some damage. Alright, she's doing some damage. Let's do the same thing, even though our damage is piss compared to our friends. The lightning damage was good. And there we go. And that's another perk. Your NPC won't always survive the fight, especially if you're a new player and you're not too experienced. Your NPC is probably going to get nuked if you keep running away and letting the NPC take aggro. But in this case, the NPC might actually end up killing the boss for you. Obviously, you helped and you did a bunch of damage yourself and you learned the mechanics. But fun stuff like that can happen. Now, obviously, there's only one way to go, and that's forward. Through more spider-infested nope. But look at that. It's a bell. Again, clearly, I don't need to tell you that. But if you remember what our buddy in episode 1 told us, the Bell of Awakening, we just rang 2 bells. But we did successfully complete our mission of ringing the Bell of Awakening. Now, we could go back down here, or we could go back to where we originally came out of to see if anything's changed, since as you make progress in certain quest lines and things change in the world of Dark Souls. So, we're going to go back and see what's changed, like to the main hub area, for example. But first, we're going to explore something over here. See all this spider, egg sac-ridden filth randomly splattered about the walls? Well, in this one little area, it seems to be clearer than, say, over here. But environmental observation shows us that with a nice clear opening, we've got ourselves an illusionary wall. Right. Certain things I will spoil, just answer yes to what this guy asks you. He'll move out of your way in peace, and you can use that bonfire. Now, wait a minute. If we've just completed what we came to do here, then why would we rest at this bonfire? What could we have to gain from it? Well, 1, levels, so you can level up immediately after the boss, which I always recommend doing. And 2, I mentioned Dark Souls is a game where you'll often come back to certain areas. You'll double back, you'll come back, you might find areas early in the game that you're not meant to go to yet, and this is one of those areas. Now, you've seen me show you several times now that going into an area before you're ready will lead to you getting punished, so I don't think I have to show you that again, so I won't, but just this area is something you'll be coming back to. Always take note of your areas in Dark Souls. Right, and remember them, because the game will reward you later when you remember where you were, when you have to go back there next. So definitely keep that in mind as you move throughout the game. I cannot stress that enough. Also, this boss, I think, was the first one to drop a unique soul. And this description says acquire many souls or create a unique weapon. You need a fully upgraded standard type of weapon in order to get a boss soul weapon, so I'm not going to go into that now, but I would hold on to these boss souls. If you're dead set on using a basic weapon and just staying with your current build, that's fine. Use the soul, you'll get some souls from it. But if you want to see what kind of weapon you can make from it, I very much encourage you to keep it and see what the game has in store for you. Because some of the boss weapons in this game are really cool. Some of them just aren't for me, but without spoiling the weapon, I will give a little hint. This boss soul weapon is a weapon that I personally ouch! Damn it. Very much enjoy using myself. Even after many playthroughs, depending on the build. Some builds I use it, some builds I don't, but I still like it because it's cool. But enough about that. We're going to go back to Firelink Shrine because we've completed our mission. So where else are we going to circle back to aside from where we came from? Now, as of this moment, Dark Souls doesn't really have much in terms of fast travel, so we need to go all the way back up from where we came from. Just a moment ago I said how you'll be backtracking, rather often. Well, that's what we have to do now. We have to backtrack and remember how we came down here so we can know how to get out of here. A lot of areas in Dark Souls have that kind of design where you need to know how you got in order to properly get out. This series is called Let Dark Souls Teach You, but as a experienced player of the series, I am, of course, going to throw in my 2 cents on top. Sometimes it's more than 2 cents, sometimes I might ramble. But I'm going to try to keep that down a little bit because I don't want this just to be a concise how I play this game and how you should play this game. I want this series to be a hybrid of me showing you how to let the game teach you and me teaching you how to deal with certain situations on top of that. I want it to be a nice bit of both because I feel like most people, they just give you guides and cookie cutter ways of how to go through, certain games. But I want to do something a little bit different and maybe appeal to, more people or appeal to people on a deeper level. Instead of just being, yep, this is how you do it. I want to offer a variety of ways to approach things. So it's a little bit more interesting and entertaining, and in the grand scheme and in the long term, more helpful. Because this is why I'm doing this series for the most part. I want, to help new players. I was terrible at this game when I first started. A lot of people, some people grasp it like that, and I'll never really understand that. But I had the hardest time with like easy things in this game. Well, things I now consider to be easy. So, because I wasn't really letting the game teach me, I was kind of just charging in and just trying to own it, which is what I said in the beginning of episode 1, that that's not what you want to do. So, I'm hoping that I can help you guys, learn how to deal with that while also adding in my advice to complement that, if that long-winded tangent made any sense. Now, we've returned to the hub area, and you'll notice 2 immediate changes. Our woman here is dead, and our Goldilocks friend is missing. We've not seen the last of him, I'll just put it that way. But I will drop now that if you killed him, you could have prevented that, but there are certain things you won't be able to do later. So it's very much a give and take. You want to figure out for yourself the best reasons and solutions to certain quest chains to determine the outcome. Now, we're back here, and you might notice this guy wasn't here originally. So he basically asks if you're the one who rings the bells, and he gives you your next mission, which I will start with in next episode, because I feel like I've been going on more than long enough here. As you'll notice that without our Firekeeper woman, we were punished. In trusting that guy, we were punished because now we can't rest at this bonfire. We have to find, the next nearest bonfire to rest at, which fortunately isn't too far away. We have the Undead Parish, which coincidentally is where we should be going next. Because if you notice, there is a gate. And now, actually thinking about it, I regret skipping the cinematic that played out after ringing the second bell, because the cutscene was of a gate opening. Didn't really show you much else, it was just an opening of a big gate. And if you explored the area by the Undead Parish, you would have recognized that gate playing through it. Which, when a big gate into a, dark building opens up, your explorers, your conquerors, that's where you go. Alright, it's been a long and spooky adventure, but we are now at the place by which we will pick up in the next episode. As you can see, that gate that was closed earlier is now open, and that will be the next daunting adventure. We're going to be talking more about environmental awareness and various things that you'll want to take note of, but until next time, guys, live well.